Mandela effect.
Hello everyone, Book of Alice here.
I could have sworn it was the Mandela effect.
Today we are going over the Mandela effect iceberg. If you don't know what the Mandela effect is, in its simplest form, it's basically a phenomenon where a large group of people remember something differently than how it actually occurred. Now, let me clarify this a little bit more. This all depends on the timeline you're living in, so how it actually occurred may all depend on the timeline you're experiencing. There's a lot of conflicting theories trying to explain this phenomenon, so I'll leave it up to you to decide which one makes more sense. The name Mandela effect comes from the South African political activist Nelson Mandela, who a large group of people remember dying in prison in the 1980s, though in reality he was released from prison and later died in 2013, almost 2 decades later than what they originally thought, leaving them wondering what else had changed in their timeline. So without further ado, let's get into the
That's more like 3 decades later, but alright.
Mandela effect iceberg and see what it's got to offer. The Pillsbury Doughboy. Many people remember the Pillsbury Doughboy mascot having a blue scarf, but in our current timeline he has a white scarf. Even looking at old commercials of the guy, you can see that he has a white scarf on, and he always has. What is called residual evidence from our past timeline, which will be used a lot in this video, can be found online. It's basically evidence proving that at one point all these so-called misremembered things actually did in fact exist. As you can see, he does have a blue scarf on in these recreations of the character done in the past, even in this old Family Guy episode.
Hello Mr. Force. Sorry if you said no more links. I just got here. Clueless tea time, click my link Mr. Force.
No, you didn't.
Monopoly Man. Now, how do you remember the Monopoly Man? Does he have a suit on, a top hat, cane, and a monocle?
He doesn't.
Well, he's got all of those but one. He's never had a monocle. Though many people vividly remember him rocking a monocle, which would have gone along perfectly with his attire, in my opinion, he's never seen on any official merchandise with one. Some challenge this belief by saying that they're confusing him with the Peanuts character due to the similarities, but they stand their ground. What do you think? The Mona Lisa. Some people remember that the Mona Lisa was never smiling in the famous painting, but instead had a more serious facial expression. But this is wrong. She has always had a faint smile. Some try to explain this by saying that it all depends on your perspective, and that it was all done on purpose. But how do you remember it? Berenstain Bears. This one is by far one of the most popular ones that we're going to cover. A large majority of people think that the original spelling for the Berenstain Bears is the Berenstain Bears, with an E instead of the A.
Who? Fucking NA ones?
Is there any residual evidence for this one? Well, sorta. Some people claim to have copies and pictures of the book with Berenstain on it instead of Berenstain, but others say that it's most likely Photoshop or they made their own copies, falsifying evidence. But what do you remember it as? Berenstain or Bernstein? Leave it in the comments. Star Wars, famous line. We all know the famous movie quote from Star Wars, "Luke, I am your father," right? Well,
No,
that line didn't actually exist. The correct quote is, "No, I am your father," though most people swear that it has always started with Luke.
No, they do that because one guy misremembered it, and then he started saying it IRL, and then everyone started hearing that, and then they started fucking thinking that was the original line.
The Looney Tunes logo. How do you guys remember the tunes and Looney Tunes being spelled? With double O's or a single U, like musical tunes? Well, it has always been spelled with a U, though lots of people remember it being spelled with double O's to fit the aesthetic of the cartoon theme, but this has never been the case.
Yeah, of course.
Fruit of the Loom. This entry is in reference to the Fruit of the Loom logo. Some people remember it, including a cornucopia, though it has never had one in the entire 170-year span of the company's existence. Strangely, it looks more complete with the cornucopia in the background. References to the brand in pop culture also depict the logo with a cornucopia, adding more to the mystery. Pikachu's tail. Some people remember Pikachu having a yellow tail with a black tip, although he's always had an all yellow tail with a brown beginning, and it has never changed on the original Pikachu. How do you remember it?
Not
Curious
with a black
George.
tip.
Do you guys recall Curious George having a tail? Well, a lot of people do, though he has never been
I don't
officially
fucking
seen
remember
with a
this
tail.
one, honestly.
I gotta be honest though, I never remembered him like that, but let me know in the comments if you have. Let's move on to the shallow waters.
I'm probably remembering it based on the fact that he's a monkey, if anything.
Missing
Not on the
emoji. Does this
character.
emoji look familiar? Like you've used it before a long time ago but simply forgot about it? Well, it never existed. Same thing goes for the hiker emoji. Many people remember using this emoji to depict them working towards their goal,
I
or
never
to just
used
simply
the emoji.
depict hiking. Either way, it has never existed in our reality, and emojis are extremely well documented, so if it would have existed at some points, it would have already been proved. This goes for many other emojis that people remember that have simply vanished. Jeffy Peanut Butter. Do you guys remember Jeffy Peanut Butter? Well, it's actually named Jeff, not Jeffy. Some claimed that it was simply confused for Skippy Peanut Butter,
I don't
a
know what
completely
this is,
different
no.
brand. Is there any residual evidence of Jeff being named Jeffy? Well, yeah. There are newspaper clippings with Jeffy Peanut Butter and other written evidence as well, but that's about it. What do you think? Is it Jeffy or Jeff? Ford logo.
It's actually gift.
This is in reference to the little squiggly thing at the end of the letter F in the Ford logo. Many people remember it not being there, believing that it was later added, but it has been there since 1911. Some people find that it ruins the logo's aesthetic, but others don't mind it as much. How do you remember it?
Actually,
Fabric aesthetic.
wait,
There's
this
since
is
19
this is the actual one, and this is how people remember it. I don't. If I had to guess, if someone came up to me, I would say this is the real logo, though. But then again, I know nothing about cars, and I never zoomed in IRL on the fucking logo.
1911.
Just because
Some-
this looks worse. Yeah.
People find that it ruins the logo's aesthetic, but others don't mind it as much. How do you remember it? Febreze. Now this one got to me, I gotta admit. I've always remembered
Click the link,
Febreze being
Forsen.
spelled with
No one
two
else
E's
died.
in the
To
middle,
know what
but
the rhino
apparently
is.
it's just one.
Well, here
I
it
always
is.
remember it
The
being a mix
rare
of
white rhino.
fabric and breeze put together, making Febreze with double E's, therefore putting the E's part in it, but I'm tripping. How do you guys remember it being spelled? Because I swear it has always had two E's in the middle. It just looks correct to me that way, but what are your opinions on it? C-3PO's leg. Did you know that C-3PO had a silver right leg, and
Hi
that he was not
Forsen,
entirely
I
gold?
have a cool video about the rhino Forsen.
Well, this surprised a lot of Mandela effect followers, and a few Star Wars fans as well, who didn't
Wait, really? He had a silver leg? I don't remember that. No, he did not have it. Well, there are pictures here without it. And then there are with.
pay much attention to the character's leg, though a large amount of figurines do depict them fully gold, so maybe this is where the misconception comes from, but I'm not sure. Tinkerbell Disney intro. Do you guys remember the intro for Disney films that depicts Tinkerbell writing out the logo and then tapping her wand? Well, that supposedly has happened before, but not in the way everyone has remembered.
No,
Here's
it's from
an
this one where it taps the one.
example of what it looked like. The Disney Castle logo would appear while Tinkerbell taps her wand over the letter I, pausing for a while and shooting off to the right. Some people believe that they may have confused it with an intro for the opening DVD screen, but others stand their ground in what they remember. Matrix quote. So in the movie Matrix, Morpheus shows Neo two pills, a blue and a red one. Near this scene, people recall Morpheus saying, "What if I told you everything you know is a lie?" But this line simply doesn't exist in the film, and is nowhere to be found in the script. Despite this, it became a rather popular quote, even appearing in viral memes online, like this one, being self-aware of the phenomenon. Judge
I don't
Judy's
remember him
gavel.
saying that.
Many people remember Judge Judy slamming her gavel when trying to get the attention of the court, although she has never had or used the gavel on the show. Do you remember it?
What?
We
No,
Are
no
the
shit.
Champions. You already know this hit song by Queen. It starts off mellow and slowly crescendos to the finale that kinda leaves you on a cliffhanger, cause you're expecting him to say, "of the world," after "We Are the Champions," but he simply doesn't. Even though this aspect of the song has appeared in numerous pop culture references in the media, it
Welcome
doesn't
to
exist.
Twitch.
The only
GB
time
Forsen, where we skip all of the interesting videos in order to watch 30 minutes of an overweight Brazilian 15-year-old talk about boring shit.
Oh my god, a
Ooh.
gun! So heckin' toes! I am literally shaking! Skip
says
it,
of
it's
the world.
toes!
You're right, let's skip all the interesting. Sparks though, it says, Chad, guess what? With no link.
If you liked the video, make sure to leave a like and a comment on what you want to see next.